Okay, I have a whole bunch of different things. I feel like it's all over the place. It already feels like my brain's going so fast I can't even keep up with it. And so I'll be probably just all over the place. And I'm so stopped up. I've been outside so much because it's been nice, and so Stella wants to be outside. And she is licking herself. So it is like her like regular noises. Now she'll sit and lick and lick and lick and lick and lick her paws. And even at some point, then she'll just start licking her bed. But I think that is what given that one cellulitis. And so she's doing that all the time. And I swear that is, well, it's just increased, but it's just so much now where she just licks her paw and licks her paws. And then you see the ads and stuff, and they'll say, well, that's parasites. So I don't know. I keep doing all the like, we're just under so much attack. It's hard to keep up and even know what the fuck. Now people are even saying, Joe is saying, what a good job he did, because he, every single person, and people are like, because it's in the food. Yeah, the food's so weird. But anyways, and the other thing, she just pants. And this morning I was trying to talk to her about, I've tried to talk to her about, because I keep thinking, is it pain? And then I'll give her more pain medicine. And then it seems like that could be bothering her. So then I kind of feel like it is the anxiety for the pole shift. Like this thing where people say ascension symptoms and stuff. And I don't know if it's something about, like, if it is our body changing from carbon to crystalline. I don't know. I know weird things are happening to my body, like so weird. It just gets weirder and weirder. And so I'm assuming weird things are happening to Stella's. And I think that is probably why she keeps getting super anxious about things. Like, she just seems anxious, like following me around. And then she'll just cry out, though, all of a sudden, too, and be outside. And I'll be like, what? And so I don't know if she does have a brain tumor and that's what happened, but you'd think that would have gotten way worse if she had like a stroke from that. Then I just know something's going on. And there's something with the poisons with neurological stuff. I just saw a girl who got a flu one, and within 10 days, she has a serious neurological disorder. It is a horrible video to watch. And so I don't know. I mean, the chemicals they're doing are just, so anyway, she's going to probably be disruptive. But I don't, I just don't know. I'm just going to keep hoping that it has something to do with this flip, and it would fucking hurry up and flip. Yeah, the thing to me, because this is what I have said before, and this is how I just keep seeing it. So this energy, all this stuff that's going on, all people going crazy and stuff. And oh my God, the people going crazy, it just gets crazier and crazier. I can't even believe some of the crazy shit that I see in videos. I'm not seeing it in real life. That's what my kids tell me. So that's not real. And that's how I think they keep themselves disconnected from other people. You can tell sometimes, like, you'll be watching a video and it's just so ridiculous. It's like, okay, is this set up? Because there's people who do that. And so, you just don't take everything real serious. Like, you just can't take things too serious. And so, anyways, I just keep seeing videos where people are just going crazy. So the way I see it, okay, and all of this stuff happening, like, I'm going to talk about what's going on in London and stuff, but all of this stuff happening, it is pushing people in a certain direction, and it's waking people up. People who were all on board with so much stuff that they were doing, they've reached their line in the sand, like so many people. And so they're all like, what the fuck? And so there's so much of that. Okay, so we got that energy, and it is big. Like, you can feel it. That's why I'm assuming that she feels a lot too, because she's so tense. She's like, and there has been crazy shit in my neighborhood. Like, the one neighbor over there screaming. The other morning, we were out really early because the light is on so early. And we were out so early, and a neighbor came busting out of the house screaming and fuck you. And it was so dead ass quiet outside. I bet you could hear it for miles. I'm like, he's like, all he could say was fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, like to this person. And you could hear them, they're kind of like whispering out the door. And they're like, fuck you. I can't fucking fuck you. Fuck you. Like just it was intense. I was like, fuck, this is about to go. Like, where's this going? I didn't want to call the cops and be like, if this is just somebody losing their mind. But then they did settle down. They went back in and never heard another peep. So, I don't know what the hell happened, but people are at the point of so much intensity. Like, so that is like this shaken bottle, right? It's just waiting, like, oh yeah, uncap this motherfucker. So we got that energy that is so churned, and people, focusing on things and seeing things. And so I don't know if that is the energy. I think something big. And I think this weekend is looking like this could be a really significant weekend. But goddamn, they come and go. So we just won't know which one it was until we get past it. Then we'll be like, oh, that's what, and then we'll see it more clearly. But as we're going towards it, you can see like, yeah, this one would work. Yeah, you guys, this one would work. But there's no, directing the universe. It's already in play. It's already going to play out when it's going to play out. And all of us looking and being like, oh, let's all think about it. Let's push it. The only thing we can keep pushing, because it was always what we were going to do, is the energy towards freedom, independence, awakening, being, just the whole thing. It's at all different levels. So whatever level anybody's at, pushing that and not laying down and surrendering to this, especially as they're pushing so hard on us. But so that energy is going to be the pole shift. That is what's going to flip it. And right now, it's also the same thing with the poles in the aurora borealis and stuff. And that shows you micro, macro, how much intensity is building. And, there's footage too of craft fighting in over Alaska. So apparently there's a lot of shit going on in Alaska. But, every single thing is just don't take it too serious. But just keep it in the back of your mind, and just so more things, as you hear more things, you just keep adding to the picture. And then pretty soon the picture develops. But so, Alaska, there's footage. It looked fucking cool as shit. So I don't know, because there's people who spend time just to create disinformation, and it comes from way at the top. So they really infiltrate in. So it is one of those things like you just got to let go of things. But there's a lot of interesting things going on. And don't forget, in Ukraine, when on the Google Maps, how LJ, Psychic LJ, she was doing Google Maps, and she was showing where she was seeing all sorts of craft on the ground in Ukraine. So, it can be the good guys in the bad. Like, it's a whole lot of stuff going on. And I saw another movie yesterday that popped up. I never heard, I have no idea what this movie was. Certainly didn't search it down. It just pops up. So I started watching it. It was an action adventure from 2010. And it was these guys in Russia that went for a business thing. And then all of a sudden this event happens while they're out in Russia. And it has the lights all coming from the sky. They had attacking the people. And this is where, a lot of these prophetic dreams and stuff like that, there's something coming out of the sky. And this is where you have some of these people, but you don't know, because they have the distortion of this Jesus freak kind of perception. But they have like demons are coming down, and there's gonna be people burning up in their front yards. And that was in this movie. So anyways, I don't know. I don't know how everything's going to go down or any of this stuff. But this is just how I see it. So this energy that we see that is just completely fizzing, and then it is flips and goes the other direction by whatever. If it's going to be an event, a scare, the money collapse, I have no idea what it's going to be, because there's so many things. I mean, just like I had said before, it's like every fucking ball is up in the air at this point. I mean, they can all go at once. Like, who knows what the game is or what the play is. So when that occurs, and that's like the lights come on, it's like this like abrupt, like, what? And that is when you snap everybody out of it. You snap them into attention. And that is when you have their attention. And I don't know what they're going to do with the attention. I don't know if it's going to be so dramatic that there would be no attention getting. It's going to go into utter chaos. So that is where you just got to be aware of, like, fuck, anything can go, but this certain event is going to go. Things are going to flip. And it's showing all this micro macro that things are heating up. It's all, the pressure's building. So when that goes, and it forces people into their awakening, which, and I have my kids as my perspective, and I'll talk more about that too, because how they lock into this, mom's crazy and stuff like that. And, it gives me the opportunity to once again try and get them to notice, you're being judgmental. You're not accepting me. And even if you think I'm some weirdo, off the spectrum person, shouldn't I be accepted? Shouldn't I be accepted because I have a disability or because I'm your mom? Like, there's so many things, but all of that gets pushed aside because they have some sort of anger or resentment towards me in life that needs to come up. It needs to come out. God, I'm so stopped up. Fuck. I have little tissues here right now. I'm doing the black seed oil every day. I'm doing the borax every day. And this morning, when the parasites are, come on, Kelly, let's eat. Get some food over in here. And I'm like, you want to eat, bitches? Let's have a little diatomaceous earth in this tea. So I got to make sure I drink this tea because I'm feeding those bitches this morning. I don't know what the fuck. I'm not going to be pressured by the worms inside of me or what I need to do. So, so when the it's still kind of hot. When the flip goes, so when we put that energy out and it happens, so all these people are going to be pushed into having to heal all of a sudden. And that is where you can see, like, from my perspective as an observer, how I'm watching how the stuff plays out. And so it's just like, people are, like I said, it's like locking in, getting ready to take on this thing. And, and I could see with my kids, and I would assume it's probably, past life stuff. It's deep stuff. I don't think it's just anything about this life. Like, I'm not going to just take it on as like, I'm just such a horrible mom, or anything like that. This is who I am. This is what you contracted in to go through. This is what you wanted to experience. And so I can't take it all on. I'm on my own journey. I'm on my own growth. I'm on my own trying to figure my own self out. I don't have time to figure everybody else out. You know what I'm saying? And so when that happens, that is when we're going to go into this mass healing where it's going to be chaos because there's already so many people, because that every single bit raises the bar. And you'll start to notice, like, certain people, if you go into a group, it's going to become more and more where, there may be like 2 or 3 people that will just kind of walk off from the group like, oh, no, it's yuck. But pretty soon it's going to flip, and it's going to be, the group is going to be more of that positive energy, and whoever's of the negative energy is going to be like, oh, I'm uncomfortable. They're not going to be able to find a place. They're going to have to keep being, they're going to be pushed. It's like the same thing as when you have a alcoholic parent and they tell you, everybody's supposed to abandon them. You're supposed to not talk to them, all that stuff. You're supposed to just leave them because they have got to hit rock bottom so they can raise themselves out of it if they can. Not everybody can, but you are going through their roller coaster ride until you push them out. And so that is what is going to start happening with people just as a natural consequence, where they're going to just be pushed out from society. And that is, because we're still on the bridge, because the age of Aquarius is when we all get to that point, when we are at that point. So we're still crossing it. So there's still these, these possibilities. It's kind of like the universe is giving you the clay to mold into yourself to prepare for what it is you want for your future. And it may not be the age of Aquarius. That may sound boring to you to just, I think it sounds like peace to most people. Like, you mean I don't have to stress out about my health. I just have to take care of myself. I can go out and just live my life and do things I want to do. I can, it's going to be so much like what we all dream of. It is going to be like heaven on earth. And so, and that is all written. And so it is, the bar being raised by humanity that brings it to that level, but it's all of us. And so as this changes, and so as people have to do their healing, in that energy that is pushed out, that is because the sun is already being activated. The sun is shooting out solar flares constantly by all of these things. So this energy is going back and forth. And I saw somebody, it seems like this was on David Wilcox was talking about it, or maybe it was it seems like there's some guy who studies the sun, and I could have seen it on Rodriguez's show, but I swear to God, I saw somebody talking about this with the energy that goes back and forth between the planet and the sun. Like we're pushing, it's like a push and pull. So it's so connected though. So it's not like the chicken or the egg. It's just like, it just is. And so we as everybody starts healing, that energy that goes out is what pushes the sun to just go boom. And I think that is going to be like the black sun, where it just all of a sudden that is going to be like the Big Bang thing. That's going to be the reset. That's going to be when the planet does its whole big rock and roll, whatever's going to happen. It's like they're resetting the stage. It's like, where the lights are going to, I think that is what the cataclysm is. That's what that they know is coming, which one group wants to use it to their benefit to wipe out a huge amount of society so they can control the rest and tell them, that's what climate change does here. Move into our cities. We'll protect you from it. And they're all trying to get themselves safe, but it's energetic. I mean, they wouldn't even never be able to come back to the surface of the planet. They would have to stay down in the depths of wherever, that they created in a low vibration place, because they're not going to naturally raise their vibration. You have to do the work to raise your vibration. So you have to, let go of your pain and suffering to go into unity consciousness. So it's a process, it's a progress that you have to do. You can't. And so anyways, but their whole thing is ending. So even if they go down in some sort of tunnels and have their whole thing set up and they think they're going to go down there, how are they going to run the world? We're going to be up here running our own selves. They're not going to be running shit. So they're gone from our stuff. Even if they exist down there for 10 or 20 years and then some, group of people decide, let's go down, we're going to get them. we're going to get justice. Who knows? Who fucking knows? So, because in the Looking Glass, they stopped being in existence in like 2040 or something. So, I don't know how it goes. I don't know if it's the two Earth split and then the one's, blows itself up or whatever, because it's the energy. And there is, in my comments, there is people who like, they don't want to live independent. They want to live completely dependent. They want everything right there for them. They value Gucci and shit like that. And those are the ones that it says in the Arcturian tablets, when they are the Arcturian things, whatever. I don't think it's in the Sumerian tablets. I think it's in that Arcturian return book or whatever, which I would assume is probably a channeler or something that wrote it. But if that they said that is the energy that won't go forward. And that is the same in the Book of One when they said about the harvest. Like there is a certain energy that won't go forward. And that to me is the rapture. It is the energy that won't go forward would be the energy that would leave, because we're going to all keep going forward. So I don't know. This is the same thing, you guys watch how it plays out. But anyways, that is going to be the solar flash that I had heard about that freaked me out all the way back in 2015, the event. And so once that goes, that is when everything will really change on the planet. And that's why I think a lot has got to go over. Once this happens, it's almost like we're on a timer. It's like once this event happens and everybody's pushed into their awakening, it's like a timer set. The energy has gone out and is coming back. But the pole shift, see, I think that energy has to do with the pole shift. See, I think it's like a big shift. It isn't just like, because this is all energetic. It's not really us spinning around and shit like that. So I think that the pole shift is the energy flipping in the other direction. But the event that is going to be the cataclysm is going to be the sun flare. But this is just how I see it. Like, we still got to see how it all plays out. Like, I don't know. And but I think it's going to be a lot quicker. So I think everything is sped up at this point. Everything is speeding up, and it's going to be, I think it's going to be a lot like, just like what, when Juan had said, like, think about a ship on the ocean. A big giant ship takes a minute to turn. Even after you turn the wheel, it takes time to catch up with itself and then start going. So that is what we're in, the turning. And then once we start going, it's going to pick up speed. But this part, it just feels kind of like we're in slow motion, because to me, it feels like Groundhog Day so often. And my censorship stuff, like, one of the things that just is so irritating is yesterday I was busy all day, and it was just like, I don't know. I was doing stuff and I would think of things I wanted to go, but my mind, it was going so fast. There was so much. I was just like, I don't know. But those days are good because then I get to see, like, no, but like all day long, 6 notifications. Like, nobody gets to see my stuff that I did the day before. The day before is 250 people get to see my thing. Like, I don't know how they do it. If they just put it on some sort of limitation board, I don't know. But it is so obvious. But those kind of things, to me, is what I read about the energy. Like, if I got up and I was like, oh my gosh, there's something loosened in censorship. But on both platforms, it is exactly just as tight as ever. And that, shows me that still there's a tension. Maybe it's the tension as the ship turns. It's the closest part in here, and that feels the most tension. The part that is aware of something. I don't know, because you got to think about micro, macro when you think about a vision. But so, anyways, the thing about with my kids is, to me, it seems like that they had done a part of their awakening. Like, they had all done parts. And it wasn't like they got stuck. I wouldn't say anybody got stuck. They're still doing, but it is like there's certain things that they can't get over. And I know a lot of it has to do with how they see me. And that is why I think that they're going to all of a sudden see me very differently. And then when they see me very differently, that is going to really have to get them to question how they saw me before. And I think that's going to happen for a lot of people. That's what I was trying to say yesterday about, like, the black sheep, or the ones who were thought to be weird or crazy, and, don't listen to them. Well, all of a sudden, when everything flips and everybody sees, like, that the crazy one was the one who knew this stuff, then everybody has to question themselves. And so it's going to be question yourselves. And then, all of a sudden you are more like, what the fuck? It's going to be very different way of seeing you all of a sudden. And so that is, to me, what I see with my kids is it seems to be like, this is something that I was also talking about yesterday, is that, like, you can't get them to see what you see. And it is almost like a disservice. Like, they came in to be impacted by whatever's going to happen. Like, I know what my guides tell me and stuff, but to me, it is, waiting to see, like what part of, my mind is them telling me and showing me, and what part of it is me filling in the blanks the way I want them or something, like there's an energy that will be released that I'll be able to see for my own self, my own truth. That's what I have been talking about. But then, so everybody will have that everybody will see, yeah, and you don't know what's going on in each person's life for them to get to see. But so in mine, is a lot about what they tell me and show me. And so it's like, okay, I'm going in this direction, you're showing and telling me, but it's like, it's a very dark tunnel. There's nothing, there's no light showing me any direction to go. It all is internal. And so I, but that energy to show me that I'm going in the right direction, that will be for me. But so for these other ones, like I kept seeing that, like certain things that like they just couldn't see or hear or whatever, where I started thinking, okay, so they're not supposed to. This isn't like nothing can happen until it's supposed to happen. Just like I said, you can't heal certain things until certain things happen. So they can't hear that. They can't see it. They're not supposed to yet. When it happens, they impact. So that impact is the thing they're looking for. It's that jolt into their healing, into what they're here to do. And it just is, when I see this attitude from my kids and different people around me, you have to start recognizing that it's almost like you're a catalyst in these people's lives for them to come in and be triggered by you to be healed on such a huge level. And we'll see how it goes. But to me, that's what it seems like right now. Like it's a part of their healing to see when I'm seeing differently, if that makes sense. It'll make more, if it doesn't make sense right now, it makes more sense after the fact, once things turn. And then when you look back, things always make more sense because you have more reference, you can see, you can understand it, especially if you can't see very well in your head, or there's like everybody processes differently. So there's no way, and don't ever feel like you're doing something wrong. It's just your way, and your way is just as important as anybody else's way. And so anyways, I think that there's something about that where that they all kind of wake up to seeing me differently, and that helps them to bring up their own biases and stuff. But it's a hard place to be the catalyst. It's very isolating. It's very lonely, man. This morning I was just like coming into tears, Estella, and just the loyalty that I have with that girl. And the past few years, I don't know, like if I didn't have her, I don't even know what would my life be like, man. Because this has been the best years of my life has been spent with her. And I know that sounds horrible, when you've raised kids and stuff like that. But that was all very hard, very challenging. I was in abusive relationships. I was difficult times. And that's why I have empathy for my mom. If there's a certain part of her past that brings up a lot of hard things for her, then, I can empathize, because it was a bad time in her life when we were little. So, and if, I know she loves us the best that she can love us, and, I don't, there's just no way to know what's inside somebody else. You don't know what their soul's journey, their soul's planet. You just don't know. And it can be completely an illusion of what you think here and what is real out there in the real world. Because this is all just a game. This is all just like, we're in like a mystery game where we're trying to figure it out and stuff, and pay attention and seeing, and making choices for yourself and directions and stuff. And that isn't like, you can't push into go and like, I'm not talking about that. where, oh, well, I'm going to be this and then go and do that. Because I'm very much, you gotta follow what your programming is, your contracts, your destiny. There's no way to do anything different. And if you're trying, then everything will just constantly be frustrating, and you'll constantly be off. You'll constantly be getting hurt. Things will constantly go wrong. And so you got to go with your internal direction where they're leading you. And if you get off from that, you're going the wrong way, and you lose everything. You got to be like, oh, okay, I was going the wrong direction. And that is definitely what I've learned, because I thought I had my future planned out, and when it was ripped away from me, and I was so upset about it, but really it was because I was going the wrong direction. They had a different plan. I was not here for that. I was here for this. And so other things had to occur so I could go off a little bit, but there was a certain time where they were, because it's all about the lesson. Like everything has already happened. It's already written. We're just reliving it. We're just viewing it. So, anyways, I feel like for my kids and stuff that their view of me is going to be really impactful to their healing, and it will be kind of that'll be a hard one to see. If they have a hard time getting over it, if they just have to be so locked into hating me that, so well, I don't know, we'll see. But, so just remember that even when somebody is like super irritated with you and, just seems like irrational, just remember, like, they've got like a lot of soul stuff coming up. Like, you don't know what's going on inside their heads and stuff. You just don't take people just gotta not take other people's stuff on. Don't take other people's stuff personally. And so I'll say some of the things that I had seen. So I guess there's some cool Q posting. So there's about the chess game and about taking down the king. And this is the coronation. So there's all these events leading up to this coronation. So although he was already, the acting and king, they have their whole expensive ass ceremony, which that's bringing up a lot of anger in the citizens and stuff like that, because they're having serious financial crisis there. Because to me, they're the smaller package. Like how I said, they'll test on a rural town before they'll go on to a whole city. So England was a more smaller, contained. And so because the Vatican, the crown, and so they had their testing, the smaller group. And so they're kind of, there's things that happen there first. So you can kind of watch there and see like where things are headed because of these evil people. And probably even if you even went further in to like Norway or something, because they do a lot of testing and shit over there. Like man, some of the stuff I've heard about things that are happening over there is just it's outrageous. But they have certain places that they'll test. They'll test, if we do this and we spray them with this, are they more docile? Can we just get away with this? Like, they do all sorts of things. So it's so vast. I mean, you just got to think, like, you've got a bunch of whacked out mad scientists that are in charge, and people who want to just get off on watching us scramble, and they fund the people who like to come up with ways to make us scramble. So it's all a game for these people, and that's why they're low vibration. Like, that is such a low vibration. So anyways, oh, now it's a good temperature. So anyways, and so they've got all of this tension that's building over there. And all these different countries, I've seen so many videos live of so many protests, and so much stuff is going on everywhere. And so in England, there's a whole bunch of stuff going on too. And it seems like, you have the traditional side, and then you have the side that is calling bullshit. And so that's the tension that is building. And so, with all the people who are all traditional, they'll get that jolt to see, you still gonna stay that way, or are you gonna do something different? And so, as this stuff is going on, so the post of the letter thing, so it was about taking the king down, because this is this chess thing, and what do you have to do first? You have to take the queen down. And so going through this thing, this is what's so interesting on these posts. Like, it is trippy, and I know it is. I know it's real. Like, it isn't a cult, and it's not psyop. It's not any of those things. I don't know what people are looking for, but it's so interesting, because whoever has it has access to the looking glass. Where some people think that it's time travel, I think the looking glass has, I don't know how, like, book about Barron Trump, like, I don't know about all that stuff. There's people now saying, I mean, Assange is really Trump's uncle, and he looks exactly like him. And they have had access. He had the Trump stuff. I mean, he had Tesla's stuff. He's the one who went in and got it. But I just don't know. What they just go then to be Wikipedia? And like, who knows? I don't know, what has gone on in the back for how long, and which families, and which, things were dividing at different times. And, there has been a definite division for a long time between, wanting to fuck the people over for their own financial gain, and people wanting other people to get to live a happy, peaceful life too. So, there's those two different, it's the dark and the light. It's always been there, and it's always been fracturing, because it's a spectrum, and it always will pull free from itself. So anyways, I don't know all of that stuff that's going on, but so there's a lot of stuff though with Trump this week. And there's stuff with Obama. There's stuff about, like, all the timing, like this case with the financial thing and the rappers, and even had Leonardo DiCaprio involved and stuff. So the money laundering that's all being exposed. And now all these people are getting these crisis actor pictures, because they just keep dying. Every crisis, the same person dies. And, but in the crisis actor thing, the guy who whacked Pelosi in the head's one of them. He's in a crisis actor photo. And so, it's also shady. These people are so fucking shady. So many of them are involved in the tricking. That's what's going to get them at the end of a rope, man. That's right there, is the purposely are trying to override other souls, this whole thing. Like, there's so much is going to be coming out. Like, it's coming out so much. Like, oh, and the kids and the food and oh my God, it's so much. Oh, so much. But, so, Trump has gone over to I think he's in a golf tournament. He's wearing a white hat. And so, and this person was showing footage that the last time that he had went 4 years ago, he was being booed. People were chanting behind him. And because the TDS was hardcore. The media was just nonstop bashing on this guy, saying what a piece of shit he was. And everybody was just like, yeah, fuck him. And then once you started seeing that they were lying, and that they were making shit up and stuff, that's what woke me up to that part. I've seen so much, like I said, that it plays out in all different ways for all different people. But that, to me, was, once I saw that was like, all of a sudden, so much in my life just snapped, like, made sense all of a sudden. Like, so much stuff. I know I've talked about it throughout this whole thing. But anyways, so one thing too that I found kind of interesting on the Scotland thing, because this was something else that, they're shown to me or whatever about, how we're here. Like, I don't know if we are these certain people coming back in, or if we are they're there as support. Like, I don't know, because we're all like attached. Like, we are all things. So it's like, it's hard to say, but it's interesting because I had just heard this person say that Trump's grandparent is from Scotland. And I was like, my grandparent is from Scotland. I know the person who I believe I'm connected to, that in this second part of my life, is their grandparent is from Scotland. And so it was like, I wonder if there is, like I said, there's groups, but like certain groups of people who were here to take on that energy, that because that energy was one way back then. So, if the grandparent, and it could have been the people who raised it, like it is so trippy how reincarnation and stuff works. But I do not believe that you just come back and like, oh, I'm going to go be a witch. Well, I'm going to go be a witch again. You could go, like, if you went and you were, you come back in to teach and claim your status of your knowledge as being a witch in the past, and you would still, know your stuff, but there's stuff that you would learn from the other one. And when you go in and do those lives as witches and stuff, it's to learn about alchemy and energy and stuff. So you would learn that you're not supposed to control it. You're supposed to be in harmony with it. And so, as I'm saying, you wouldn't come and keep trying to, you wouldn't go and live this productive witch life that, or what did you learn? I guess you could come back if you were trying to learn it, but you have to learn it from a different role in a different situation. You don't come in and just keep doing the same thing over and over. You come in and you learn it, like you have to play a different part. Like, there's a million different parts to learn the different things you need to learn. But anyways, I was just like, that is interesting, of all of the different groups of souls that were here before, that were going full circle. Like, they were oppressed from this group of people, and now they've come back to fight back against those people and take them down as a big group. Like, in the soul world, all the souls come in, like, all of, because I have so many connections to different groups and lives, way stuff from the past. And so, it is these different groups, like the knowledge, like there's certain knowledge. Like, I know I lived as an Indian person, some sort of a native person back a long time ago, that was, back before the people were messed with, where people were still living as tribes and stuff. I have a lot of visions about that. I know there's a lot of stuff, and that is where I know the things that I learned there about being in harmony and animal spirit. Like, there's certain things that you just know, it's inside of you, and you learn them when you go in these different lives. So then once you learn them, you have that knowledge inside of you. And so it's like your reference material. And so that is like why you can talk to somebody and then they have who's totally, if somebody's really judgmental of something, it's because they just haven't gone in and experienced it. Because once you go in and experience it, it changes your perspective. And that is why, as souls become more developed, they're not going to be out there saying that so much, because they're going to know that that's a personal thing. Like, if you're out there judging somebody, that shows that you don't, it comes back on you. There's nothing wrong with them. There's nothing wrong with what they're doing. It comes back on you because you're still in a place of judgment on somebody else, when every soul is just out there. It's like, the cells up here by my eyes can't sit here and judge the cells down by my toes. They don't know. you know, my toes got to do to get me around, and these ones don't know what this has got to do to work my face. Like, so you don't, the cells don't, or the souls don't judge one another. I mean, we're programmed to do it in this life, but we're programmed to do it in their alternate programming. It's not soul programming. That's where you've got to split the two and a half. That is the dividing out of the control of where they're programming you. You have to recognize that your soul has to say, like, hey, that's not okay. And that's like where the line in the sand is drawn. And where so many just keep pushing it back and pushing it back because they want to be good people. They want to be good people. And, you know, good people, you know, just are doormats apparently. And so after the, you know, going through all of the pushing, it finally, you reach a point where it's like, no, this is a big no. You've pushed too far. And that is what I have been saying, is like, it's hard to watch because the absurdity that the people are willing to put up with and take, and just keep, you know, they seriously box themselves into a corner. They leave themselves no room to grow, to develop. They are so controlled, and they're so willing to be controlled. And so that's the beautiful thing, is when they start standing up for themselves and saying, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to believe that. I'm not going to say that. The sad thing is when you see, you know, the people go into major crises, you know, they're falling apart. But that is what has to happen. You have to fall apart so you can rebuild. You can't, you have to let go of who you thought you were, because who you thought you were is, it's a false persona, because it's built on the, you know, I know I've talked about this so many times, but it's built on the, you know, the parameters that you're allowed by them. And so, you know, once you take down those walls and you let yourself free, you'll see you're so much bigger than what you were trying to be. You can't accomplish who you are being caged up like a fucking animal. Like, you know, it's like they're crating your soul. So you have to, but your soul has to break free. Your soul has to say, like, you have to listen to your soul. Because I don't understand how, like, people don't hear it or something. So I can't say, like, that they're doing something wrong. I can say that it is obviously a part of their challenge is to come in, you know, and even when you are, you know, like listening to a band out, you know, like what I'm seeing is like a concert, like, but you're so close to like the tubas and everything is blowing and it's so loud and you're still trying to hear the other stuff, but all you can hear is the noise, is, you know, what's right in front of you. And so, you know, there's so much of, you know, you have to pull free from that. You have to really tune in your hearing to hear what you want to hear instead of what's just being blasted in your face. And so, you know, that's hard. It's hard, especially when people haven't been trained. I mean, people are anxious over every little thing, gives them anxiety, is they have not been trained. They haven't learned how to develop. They've been just boxed up. And, you know, it is kind of like the whole world has been, what is that? Because I keep seeing these videos. I fucking got somehow in some fucking rescue animal thing and I can't handle it because it's too fucking sad. But with these hoarder houses, like, oh my God. Fuck, horrible shit, man. I don't know. Like, all this stuff has to purge out though, but fuck, dude, it's fucking hard to watch because even, you know, some old wackadoo with 250 dogs, it's like, then you know, like, something's wrong with them. They're suffering. It's not just but they're putting out suffering, but they're suffering. They're the nucleus. And then it goes back further. It's not even just them because it extends back to their parents and extends back to their parents. That is like this whole thing where we have to learn together. We have to grow together. And sometimes we have to be the first one to step off the ledge because the other ones before us were so trapped because they didn't know how. And that's why you keep coming back and coming, you go and you come back in, then you will take that knowledge and then you're like, okay, I'm going to come back in and I'm going to do better. And so there's all different things that happen with a reincarnation. I mean, there's tons of people who get born right back into their families. That grandpa dies and then the next grandkid that gets born is grandpa. So there's constantly people coming right back in that want to fix certain things and stuff, especially things that, like I said, that you get a very different look of that, how you see yourself once you step back. And that's why it's better to do it in life, to step back as the observer and to always be willing to see yourself. Don't hide from yourself. Don't just blame everybody else for how you feel. Own your own feelings. And, I just feel like kind of it's, with my kids, if they don't want me, if they're going to ridicule me in every conversation, if every conversation turns into that I said something wrong, that I should do things differently with my day, I should stay off the internet, all of these things, then I don't want to be involved in the conversations. I'm not going to just be a doormat. I'm not going to be the scapegoat. And to me, I can fully recognize that that's coming from a place of pain. There's somebody's trapped. They can't get over the hump. They can't accept me, and so they have to keep blaming me, and they can't accept themselves, so it's got to be my fault. So, that is a lot of stuff that the soul has to go through to get over. And so I'm not going to, be like, oh, she's such a bitch. She's so horrible. No, I know that she's struggling. I'm not taking it personally. But I have to stand up for myself. I'm not going to put myself through it. And especially, like I said, this time with my dog has been the most loving time of my life where, it's been peaceful. There hasn't been arguing or fighting. It's just, I do what I want when I want. It's just been, this really peaceful time. And, I don't know. It's just one of the things that for me is just my whole life has just kind of been me on my own. I think probably so many people feel that way. And that's why it's important to champion yourself. But it has felt so much like me against the world, And even, with having kids and stuff, you want your kids to be your family, to be your support system, to build you up, to not just constantly try and knock you down. To not just want you to tell them how great they are, to sometimes tell you that, they like you as a mom, they like you as a person. I don't know. Now it's getting too cold. I'm talking so much and I'm getting emotional because that is my thing that I think is my big thing that I'm supposed to get over, and I'm like chipping away at it or something, is, not feeling like anybody has to be there for me. It's that is, that's an expectation that, that I felt was the way it was supposed to be. That's what it would have been. And it wouldn't be going through all of life feeling completely misunderstood, not ever seen for who I am, and being judged. I feel like I've had so much negative come at me, and it's weird. That is one thing too, is when I see some of these tarot card readers and they'll say something that will be like, that sounds like they're talking to me, and then they'll start talking about stuff from my past that is so fucking accurate. And then it will be things like, I didn't even see it that way before. I hadn't even thought about that way before. But it is, there is a thing about being a catalyst for sure. And caught, I don't know, but where is that, or people just looked at me as like the bad guy all the time. Like, it was, I don't know how to explain it. I'm really curious to see how when things flip. And, I want to see how things are when they flip. I know my world flipped how I saw myself in 2020. And you think other people, would catch up, but it's not like that. It's not like that at all. So weird, too, for so much of my time as a mom. Oh, you're, the worst. You need to go to counseling. You're this, you're that, all the time. And I would always just chalk it up to, well, teenage girls. And, I wasn't the nicest teenage girl. So, I didn't, but it would hurt my feelings. It would hurt my feelings a lot. They hurt my feelings all the time. And, and they always talk about, the things that I did or said that that hurt their feelings, which I did it as, just by accident, like saying, my opinions or something like that. But when teenage girls do it, they're doing it to be mean. They're doing it to try and hurt your feelings, say mean things to you. And so, anyways, I don't know. Something else I was going to say about that. And then plus just being with, I don't know, some of the things with the households and stuff like that, like where I've seen like these different videos, and then it's like, man, that is something that, when the kids all of a sudden realized that the dad was treating the mom a certain way, and then when they jumped on board that they were a part of that energy, they have to see that for themselves. And so the thing is when they're so busy just thinking you're the problem in the world, they're not looking at any of their own stuff. So they're not healing anything. They're not healing you. They're just keeping distance, and however that is. And then they are, their focus isn't on doing any of the stuff to make themselves feel better, because they've already scapegoated you. You're the problem. And so, that's the problem. If you're scapegoating somebody and just saying they're the problem, you're not going to heal. You're not going to get better. And so it's, it's a waste of time. And it is a waste of energy. It's a waste of energy to hold on to resentment of stuff that happened 20 years ago, even 10 years ago. It's like once something happens and you process it, it's best to just let it go. That's something I learned from the brain injury too. Like, fuck, I couldn't believe how much people held on to things that you didn't need to hold on to. It's like, let it go, man. Let that go. Don't fucking matter. But I used to be like that before I got a brain injury. So that was like the benefit of the brain injury, really. It was just like, that's why I don't get all upset anymore about having the issues with my memory, is like, because there's so much that I know that happened to show me. Just let go of shit. Let go. It fucking doesn't matter. Let go of that. Doesn't matter. Let go of that. Doesn't matter. You don't even remember that. And the things that do matter, those imprint into your soul. And those can be very subtle, the lessons that you're learning. And then so much before, now we're advancing, but before, so much of your learning was done in the after view, when you went back in and you reviewed looking at yourself, because it's so hard to distance yourself when you're there. But that is what's kept that incarnation cycle going, because people like want to come back in and fix it, want to come back in and fix it, want to come back in and fix it. And want to grow and become better, and I know they can do better. So that energy is what fed it. But now it's going to go into this time where, it isn't going to be just like earth space or something, because there's it's like all of space is going to open up to us, and there's going to be all souls living in all different dimensions and stuff. So it's going to be all different kinds of realities, and it's going to be so much is going to be opened up to us. But that is once we do this little advancement, this ascension, this getting over all of our troubles so that we can really be of a pure heart. And so that is the reaching that pure heart of just open with love and, not feeling like when you're talking to somebody, you need to tell them how to fix it and how they need to be different and what they need to do differently. You can offer advice. You can say, well, I would do this or I would do that. But you can't just constantly be telling people that they're wrong, they're doing it wrong. I think it's a good habit to get into is like, what does your soul say? What does your internal say? What is your, get people to constantly go in there and find what is it inside saying. And that is a voice that everybody should listen to, but it's one that can be hard when, like I said, you got the tuba blasting in your face. It's very hard to go in and listen to the quiet voice inside. And that is the benefit to going out in nature and meditation and all that ceremonial stuff, is to find your place so that you can shut out the tuba and shut out all the noise. And, I think it's just easy for me is just because I've been doing it for so long, my whole life. And it was just a natural occurrence. And so it's not something, because to me, once I heard them at 3 years old is the time that I remember the most. But once I heard them talking and telling me things, that is when I could always recognize when they were talking. I've always, ever since, could recognize when they were talking to me. So it's never been, I don't know. And there's, right, because I just saw this video too, where this guy was like tripping out. And he's like, oh my gosh, my daughter, she's like five or six or something. She just told me that this black thing went running out of her. I think she came running out and was scared. And she goes, there was a black thing just came running out of that room and went in my room. I don't want to go in there. And the dad's like, what are you talking about? There's no things in there running around. And, and then, so they left to go to school. They're having to hurry and get out the door. And so once she came outside, she goes, okay, I can go back in my room now. I just saw him. He ran out of our house and ran over to that house. And the guy was just like freaking out. So he's like, well, I got to talk to her more. I don't know what the hell is she talking about. And there was other people in the comments besides me. But I was like, oh, you got to tell her that's real. That's real. I see him all the time. You don't tell her that's not real. She can just see something you can't see. But just because other people can't see it or hear it, that just is their vibration holds them back. The more your vibration leans in, the more you hear, see, and the more I keep opening up, like I'm telling you, like it's crazy. Like I've never seen so many things. And so, that's why I'm like, it's all alive around us. Like I've never seen so much stuff. So I would always could hear them and always sense them and always like all those things, but so much of seeing them now is the thing. It's like I hadn't had that so much before. But anyways, I told that guy, make sure and don't shame her, tell her that's not real and stuff like that. But there was a whole bunch of people in the comments who were saying that. And then and people saying, that kids can see and hear things more than adults. And, but the thing is for me is that I continued. I didn't stop. And I don't know why that is, I don't know why if it happens for some kids and it doesn't happen. That's also something in Lock and Key that they make about as kids get older, that they forget about the magic and stuff. But I just never did. So I don't know. But the magic, the supernatural, the mystical, the magical, that is our real world. This thing that we're doing here, what people think is real life, we're just in a game. This isn't even real. It's not real life. It's nothing real about it. It is the world outside of this is where we really reside. It's where we really exist. This is a projection of self to come in and play this out, to play a game, to expand ourselves, to expand our knowledge by existence. And so, and we're all here playing roles, we're all here playing parts. And that is another thing that is going to be interesting to see when things flip, is it should really flesh out the part that you're playing. It should become, really clear as to what you are here to do and what your purpose is and stuff. So anyways, there is a lot going on. It does seem like, that. Oh, did I say? Because now when he went to Scotland this time, so they booed him 4 years ago, and this time they're out there cheering, doing colored things in the sky with red, white, and blue and stuff. Like, they're super excited. But whatever he's going to do, and I don't know if it's like a disruption, I don't know what's going to go down, but he's awfully close to the coronation, and they're saying something about this is the taking down of the king. And I have heard some other things about that. And there is, I had just seen where they have the prime ministers, whatever, they're like live arguing, like how our Congress does and stuff. And they're arguing the two different parties, because there's the party of the people, and then there's the party of the government, or something, like just like what they tell us here. And so they were arguing and stuff, but when they were saying it, and this is why I was saying it's like a testing center, is the people were like, rent is $9,000. You have to have $9,000 down to get into a place. All these kids are all living with their parents. Kids can't move out. There's no money. The housing, so they're in this huge argument going back and forth over the money and the housing crisis, and the financial crisis that's going on there at the same time, preparing for this elaborate, ridiculous, money wasting coronation bullshit. And then there's a whole thing of like, he's not the king, and Scotland is against this. Scotland is like, they're still under the king, but they don't want Charles. So there's a whole thing about that too going on. So I don't know, like, there's so much stuff going on. But so if because what was I going to say? Oh yeah, so because they do that in this smaller thing, all of their control, then they go bigger, and that is what they're trying to do, all of that. So they're trying to do it really big in America, and I think they had a lot of intention to go a lot slower, but now everything has picked up speed. And I think old fucking Castro Jr., he's just in competition, because to me, Canada is the same thing. It's like, they've got to go big to take over that whole thing. And Trudeau, he just seems like he's like, I might outdo my father. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be the most horrible. And so he is, and who knows if it's, scripted on this part, or if this is really exposing how really horrible he is. It's so crazy too, is because, he was like a heartthrob there for a while. Everybody was like, oh my God, he's just the best. He's the meat and potatoes of politics. And then now it is like, he's so fucking evil. His dad, the whole fucking thing. And the same is with Australia. But that one is a extension too. That is even where England decided they were just going to send their criminals out there. And they would put their criminals out there, I guess, to take that land away from the Aborigines. Because that's what they do. They use certain people to oppress other people. So it's what they've done, is they're colonizing, or whatever it has been, about telling certain group of people, that we need to become civilized, and we need to go out there and, destroy these people who aren't civilized. Just look at them like animals. Don't look at them like human. And because, they're not living under the civilized rule of the crown and the church. So they're living free as God intended. So shame on them, huh? So anyways, they're trying to do all of that stuff, but it's so much more intense in England. And it's more confined and stuff. So I don't know. To me, there's going to be some fireworks going this weekend. I think even leading up, and there's more stuff that is like where the banks are trying to save themselves, like a bigger one's trying to swoop in and save it. There's no saving it because it's the dollars, not just the banks. The banks are just the extension of the financial institution. So of course they've got to crash. There's going to be some supposedly that are going to be a part of redemption centers and places that you can go to help you. I don't know if it's going to be places. They're going to be way different. They're not going to be like our typical banks that we're used to. So the banks are going down. So I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on with that this week. A lot of stuff going on with government stuff this week. So there's just a ton of stuff. So I think anything can happen this week, and especially that coronation thing seems like, if they're going to take down the king, and I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it all plays out. But be ready for anything, as far as I'm concerned. And my kids are going to be there. And I was thinking, because 5/5, that is Cinco de Mayo. And so they'll be there on this huge celebration on the 5/5 portal and around supper time, 5/5. So even 5/5 in the morning, I bet you will be intense while everybody's getting up and going to work and stuff like that. But all of that celebration and that energy, man, I bet you, I don't know. I'm curious to see how this weekend goes there for in Mexico for what's going to go on. I'm hoping everybody's going to be safe. I don't want anything bad to happen, but like there's no way that any of us have control. Like if something bad happens, it's not by accident. It was meant to happen that way, and it's going to happen the way it's going to happen. And me stressing out about it's not going to do any good. So you got to just let go of it and just deal with what happens as it happens. And that is where you got to try and not take on too much of everybody else's crisis. There's so many people in so much crisis, so many people asking for donations, asking for help, asking for money. Everybody is just a mess. And so many people are trying to save other people. And, I think it's going to come down to, it's going to get more intense. Because it's all about save yourself. Like the saving other people is to get that compassion and empathy inside of you, because that helps you push away judgment. It helps you want to heal and stuff when you have compassion and you see other people as suffering. So all of that energy that is a motivator to get you to, to care. But this, it's gonna be a little bit different, because it's going to be, we're breaking free from groups, because everything is about sovereignty. It's about you as an independent soul becoming a sovereign energetic being. You are completely like ties cut. I think that's why there's a lot of family troubles, because you've got to cut ties, not emotion, not like it is the ties of how you define yourself. It is, you have to stand free as an individual, free from groups, free from family structure, free opinions and stuff. So that is the goal. That's what everybody's working towards, whether they remember it or not. But that is what everybody is working towards, is this independence. So there's going to be, another wave that's going to come in it, people who, like, it's going to play out in different ways. It is all going to be due to your intention, what's in your heart. If you're out there trying to give everybody money and rescue people because you think everybody needs you, because then you're an ego, or if you're out there, like, it's all going to play out in different ways, but it's all to show the individual of what they need to see. So just keep that in your mind as things keep playing out. And even when you see it for somebody else, it doesn't do any good to tell them. They have to see it for themselves. So there's no point of sitting there like, oh, no, look. My daughter is always asking, because she very much is going outside of herself looking for confirmation and stuff like that. And I keep trying to tell her, but she's going through all this stuff. Like, she's having so many things fall free, and she's constantly trying to see and get herself into that position, but it's very hard. And don't forget, she was in counseling for fucking like 10 years. She still goes to psychologists every week, or at least once a month. I mean, she's gone since she was like 13. And so she, and this is what she went to school for. This is her profession. She helps other people. And that is how hard it is to see yourself. And to, it's a very dark room when you are in there. So, to me, it has always just benefited me is that I've always had these other people to talk to that give me direction, that show me and tell me which way to go and how to see things. And, they'll bring things for me to see. So, I think everybody has the same connection. It just depends on, the energy you put into your connection with yourself. And it's a challenge. It's like, and it can be all different for everybody. Some people can be like a 600 pound man going into the gym that's never worked out and wants to get down to 180. And then other people, go in there and it's there. Everything is there. They just had, put on a little bit and stop paying attention. And so it's time to, pay attention and really take the time to go in and listen to yourself, because I know everybody's self is talking to them. It just is all dependent on the receiver. So it depends on what you pay attention to. That makes all the difference in the world. And then the judgment. You got to let go of judgment. Let go of judgment on others, but especially let go of judgment on yourself, because that is going to hold you back in your healing. You got to allow yourself to not be perfect. Nobody expects you to be perfect but you. And so you have to, go through and see like why you're so hard on yourself. And it always goes back to childhood, of trying to please somebody or something. So it's just stuff you go back and release. That's the inner child work. That's the going back, seeing things in a logical way and not being held back by the past of things that don't matter. So anyways, I feel like I just say the same things over and over and over, but it is, it is true. And, it is, the whole thing is about healing and becoming your best self. And that whole thing of them distracting us is to keep us from accomplishing that. So, it's, I think it's super exciting, and I'm super excited to see what's going to happen this weekend. So I'm going to keep trying to see the lives and stuff like that. So I'll still go on TikTok and see, even though it's like sometimes it's so redundant and so annoying. It's like so many people just like, oh my God, I just can't believe it, and I swear to God, it's just like, go, go, go. It's like one after another, the same thing, same thing. It's like you have to go through 50 to get to one where it's like something that you're trying to find out about, like what's going on over here, what's going on over there. And because I know the general energy in each person's life is going to be blowing up. So everybody's going to be in a crisis. Everybody's going to be in a crisis at once. But it is the overall energetic switch that I'm looking for. I'm looking for things turning the other direction. And that is where it's going to feel so much better. It's going to feel so much better for some of us and so much worse for other people. But remember, even when they're feeling worse, it will be temporary. All they got to do is face themselves. So even if you see people who are just in major crisis, just, be kind. Just, help them to just walk through their stuff, but give them support, because that's what everybody needs. It is the hating oneself is what gets people into such a crisis. And people are so programmed to hate themselves. So anyways, do whatever you can to build people up. Build everybody up. Just keep thinking everybody just needs to get built up. The world will be such a better place when people out there feel good about themselves. So anyways, goals. So I don't know if I'm going to do any TikTok saves. I'll probably do some. It depends on my motivation. Today, I'm like, I think I'm going to go out and try and organize my other paintings outside. And I really want to start taking those walls down and stuff, but I got to get the money to do it. It's going to be a big job. So I'm going to probably wait until supposedly my daughter and her girlfriend are supposed to be coming at the end of May. So I don't know if they do. After that, then I think I'm going to start maybe June or July. But, it all depends. Like maybe I'll have to get my supplies because once the crash happens, and it could happen before my next check. I mean, when you hear the people talking about how unstable the banks are in the market and stuff, because once it goes, it goes. There will be no way to buy anything, and that will be when people start going like, why am I at work? How much? Who's gonna pay me? There's gonna be people walking off the job. There's gonna be like, we're gonna see this fucking everything shut down because there's not gonna be anybody who's gonna go out and do it for free. There's not gonna be anybody out there. I mean, I don't know. Are cops gonna go out there and work for free, or is the government gonna say, oh, we have another way to pay you, but what are you gonna do with that? I don't know. I don't know how all this stuff is going to play out. But all I know is that once the dollar crashes, that there's going to be, because we're all set up with ATM cards and shit like that to draw off that account. So when you go out and try and use it, there will be no way to use it. There will be no way to get money out of an ATM. There will be no way to pay for groceries. Nothing. So anyways, we'll see how it all plays out, but I can go at any time. I mean, that's one of the biggest things that we have, because that is a for sure thing. We're changing the currency. We're changing to the gold standard. We're changing off of the dollars. The dollar's going to crash. And I don't think it's going to go down, just like, oh, it was never there. I think it's going to go down very dramatically. So we'll see. But anyways, just be prepared for anything. I think that's going to be the big thing too, is when it really crashes, there's going to be people who aren't prepared. They didn't go get food. They don't have anything. And then how are they supposed to get it? Because there's going to be, I think there's going to be a shady period in there where we're going to be kind of like, now what? I don't know. I know the quantum thing is supposed to go right directly in and override the Fed now and stuff like that, but we'll see. I mean, I think that things are going to continue to be dramatic, like the rest and all this shit. So anyways, just stay safe and keep working on you. I'll talk to you later. Bye.